The First Alert Now desk, stories developing as we came on the air this afternoon. The mother of missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu appearing in Manitowoc County Court today as she requests a reduction in her bond. As we first alerted you, Katrina Baur's attorney withdrew from the case earlier this week due to a conflict of interest, but we don't yet know the details of that conflict. That attorney, Ann Larson, filed a motion asking for Baur's bond reduction because she can't come up with the money. The motion also requested that court remove the condition that Baur is not allowed to have contact with children under 18. In court today, the judge granted her permission to have contact with her own children, but did not grant her bond reduction. Her next hearing is scheduled for October 22nd.